9x9. Okay guys, today we're going to be going over the basics of 9x9, and we're just going to be playing some sample games, getting used to the rules, and how they impact the strategy. So, you probably already know, but each player, oops, looks like we got a mobile board issue. You probably already know, but each player takes turns placing a stone on the board in any location on an intersection. During the game, stones do not move. And then at the end of the game, we can see that players start to control more and more of the board. And so white seems to have the most control over this area, and black seems to have the most control over this area. That doesn't make it illegal for white to play a move in black's controlled area, or for black to play a move in white's controlled area, but it's very common for these stones to be killed. This is why we say one player has control over an area. This is why we say this is a white territory. It's because these black stones cannot survive. Even if you play the most aggressive moves, white can just respond defensively. And then as the group grows, you can see it starts to become too constrained. Even if you try to make eyes, white will counter. And then finally, as you fill the space, the surrounding player will easily capture the stones. And of course, you also know the rule for capturing is that anytime all your external spaces, here, 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 and here, are taken up, your stones are captured. The player that plays first captures first. So you can play inside of a shape and capture all of the stones, provided that your inside stone would have liberties after the stones are taken off the board, and maybe we'll show some of that later. These stones would be added to white's captures. So usually you put them in the bowls, this, but I'll just keep them on the board for now to show. Gameplay continues until both players completely seal the borders. So some border sealing moves here, here, pressuring this border. Here, pressuring this border. Here, pressuring this border. Here, pressuring this border for black. And then all the intermediate points in between the stones should be filled up. Be careful during this time because you are filling your own points. So this stone has liberties here and here. And during the filling phase, those liberties go away. So just be careful of that. And now we can pretty easily see, most experienced players can see at a glance, that this stone cannot survive. I'll have black play it anyway. And we'll go to a scoring phase. So what is the score of the game of Go? And basically, in modern times, most countries use what we call Japanese scoring or territory scoring. And so each player has an opportunity to talk about which stones are dead and which stones are alive. So after each player passes just a legal move and go. You don't have to place a stone if you don't want to. After each player passes, white is going to claim this stone is a dead stone. If black disagrees, that would be somewhat rude, but in this case, if black disagrees, black would be allowed to play moves starting from here to prove that the group had two eyes. However, the rule is if you can fill in the territory with stones, of either color, and the stone would be captured, it's captured. Anything at the end of the game that can be captured will be captured. And so we'll rewind this. Not quite sure what the damage was, but this looks about right. Maybe here. You guys can tell me how wrong I got that in the comments. But basically, anything that can be captured on the board at the end of the game is captured. Groups with large territories, or with a special situation that we call having two eyes, which is when you have two separate containers, which I'll show in another video, will live to the end, because by the rules of the game, there's just no way to capture them through normal gameplay. So, as soon as both players agree that the stone that was placed inside is dead, then it's taken off the board and added to the captures. And then at the end of the game, captures serve as a -1 point, and territory serves as a 1 point. So each capture is taken and fills in 1 point of the empty space inside your area of the same color. So these are black stones, so they go in the black area. Anywhere is fine. Here, 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 or here. And then the territory is counted. So white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pairs, so that's 19 points. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pairs, so 18 points, and it looks like white is our winner. Generally on 9x9, there's also an additional compensation of 6.5 points for white. A half point is just there to break ties. Since white goes second, white would win the tie. And the 6 points is something that we've decided on for rated games that makes 9x9 fair. So black actually has to win by more than 6 points in rated games. However, I wouldn't worry about that too much for your club games. If both players are relatively new to the game, just play without combing the extra points, and then switch sides when one side starts winning. So whoever's winning more has to play black, or I'm sorry, has to play white and go second. Okay, so that's a brief explanation of the rules of 9x9. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll get back to more 9x9 content soon.